It's 2020, the year of the bait and switch. Is it? Okay. So let's talk about what a bait and switch is. This is part of Homebuyer 101. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Yes, I do mortgages. Right now I'm in about 22 states, but I will be at 50 by April. Yes, that's my birthday goal. Get all 50. So I'm going to talk to you about bait and switches, a couple of the ones that I see a lot and how to avoid it. Okay. So the first thing is the bait and switch on a refinance. So this is something that I'm seeing a lot of right now. We are in refinance mania again. The coronavirus has made it so that rates have dropped really low. And so with those really low rates come a ton of refinance activity. And it also brings out the sleazy lenders. So here's what I see. I see people sending out loan estimates with really low rates. Okay. But the other thing they're doing is they're sending out loan estimates where the taxes, the property taxes are crazy off. So like in California on, let's say a $700,000 house, I would expect taxes to be here. Let's do the calculation together. 700 times 0.0125 divided by 12, about $730 a month, give or take 0.1. Okay. However, often what we'll see is we'll see loan estimates generated from lenders who aren't being, they're being a little sleazy, where they'll have the property taxes at $300. So the borrower sees that and they go, wow, if I go with Paul, my payment's lower, the closing costs are lower, Jen's a jerk. No, I'm not a jerk. I'm just actually doing your real property taxes. I'm not doing Fantasyland property taxes. And that is an example of a bait and switch. They are baiting you with the concept of this amazing low payment and these low closing costs, but it's all BS and it's going to get switched. It's going to get switched to your real property taxes because lenders don't control your property taxes. We have zero control. If we could control your property taxes, we wouldn't have any. Like, I don't want to pay them. Do you? Do you? No. Okay. And I'm sure, yes, we need roads, we need schools. Okay, fine. But I pay a lot in state tax. Okay. Moving on. That's the first bait and switch. Look out on those loan estimates for property taxes and your homeowner's insurance being inaccurate. That is what I see a lot of. If you know your homeowner's insurance is $100 a month and that loan estimate says $25 a month, they don't have a magical policy for you. You're just going to get halfway through and they'll be like, oh, well, we got your homeowner's insurance and we updated it. We got your property tax bill and we updated it. There goes your magical low payment and your lower closing costs. You should have just stuck with Jen, who was not a jerk. So that's the first thing. Second thing. Okay, I see this one with purchases and I've seen a lot of it recently. And I think I talked about it in another video, but I want to talk about it again because it is really starting to be a problem. So basically what happens is this. Let's say that you're talking to two lenders. You're talking to me and Paul again. And I say, hey, look, I can get you 3.375. Let's do this. We'll close it in 18 days. It's going to be awesome. And Paul goes, well, I'll get you 3%. And you're like, oh my God, he has such a better rate. I love Paul. And so you sign your disclosures. It says 3%. You don't actually look at your disclosures to see if it's floating or locking. It says float. And you're like, this is fantastic. I've got 3% because Paul said he would get me 3%. Yeah, so then you're close to closing and Paul calls and he's like, hey, Betsy, we can get you, 3.75. And you go, wait, I thought we could get 3%. Oh, but you didn't tell me to lock, Betsy. You've got to give me specific written instructions to lock. Okay, do you have to give specific written instructions to lock? No. Do you need to tell your lender you want to lock? Yeah, generally. With my clients, I always say when we have a rate, do you want me to lock? If you want me to lock, you need to tell me. If I send you rates and you want me to lock one, I need you to tell me immediately because the market changes. But what sleazy lenders do is they don't say that. They just use it against you later. They go, oh, you never told me specifically. And you're like, but I thought that, The other way they do this is if you were detailed, if you were like, hey, I want to lock, blah, blah, blah. Now, a lot of loan companies don't require that lock confirmations go out when they go out, when it happens. So you may say, please lock me at 3%, Paul. He doesn't respond to the email. So you're like, okay, well, I'm locked, I'm fine. And then a month later goes by, 10 days before closing, Paul goes, hey, I'm really sorry, Betsy, but we got to do 3.75. And you're like, wait, what? Why? I told you to lock at 3%. And they go, well, you know, once we started working on your file, like your income was different, your credit was different. The only thing I can get you now is 3.75. And you're like, wait, what? So you call like 5 other lenders and they're like, oh, wow, that's really high. Like, I don't get it. Let me see your whole file. Oh yeah, no, that makes no sense. But you can't do anything because you're 10 days before closing. You have a seller that's not going to extend the escrow. So you're stuck closing with Paul. It's very important that whenever you're working with a lender, you check the third-party reviews of the individual lender. Seriously, not the company. I mean, the company is important too, but the actual lender. So if it's Paul B, look him up. Look him up on Yelp. Look him up on Zillow. Look him up on Google and read the reviews. And if the reviews say, oh, Paul was great, I love him, yay, he got me a great rate, totally honest, ethical, okay. But if it says nothing, he's a ghost, be afraid. If it says, we didn't get what we wanted, you know, I would definitely have a red flag warning. It's not like, lenders aren't like pizza restaurants where a pizza restaurant may have a bunch of mixed reviews. Lenders traditionally, you usually have one or the other. You usually have really good reviews or not great reviews. And it's not normal for a lender to have like 4 good ones and 2 bad ones. If you have 4 good and 2 bad, like I would run from that lender so quick that I would be darting away. So those are the 2 biggest bait and switch that I'm seeing right now that I would strongly watch out for, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you're calling 10 days before close and you can't do anything. And I actually saw 4 of those in the last 2 months. And a lot of it was loan program switches. It was, oh yeah, he told me I could do a 30-year, but now he says I have to do a 7-year at a higher rate. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But at that point, buyer has no choice because they have to close. So hope this has been helpful and have a great day.